Our topic is Beijing tourism. We will represent it in a video. Hope you can enjoy it.
And then introduce.
We will introduce in the video. Capital of the People's Republic of China is a political and cultural center. Through 3,000 of wind and rain baptism, Beijing has a profound history and splendid culture. Besides, Beijing is one of the countries which has the largest number of cultural heritage in the world. When it comes to Beijing, we may recollect it has 7 5A-level scenic spots. There are the Forbidden City, Summer Palace, the Great Wall, the Ming Tombs, the Mansion of Prince Gong, Beijing Olympic Park, and Temple of Heaven. We can see most of them has the same characteristic, like they are located within the fifth ring. Now, let's follow our step to know something about the Beijing tourism.
Now, let's talk about the structure of tourists. After some online research, we got recent 11 years data of how many people have come to Beijing for traveling and where do they come from. We divide the tourists who travel to Beijing into 5 parts: mainland China tourists, foreign tourists, Hong Kong tourists, Taiwan tourists, and Macau tourists. We put the data into line charts. Through them, we can see the development of Beijing tourism. Since the number of inbound passengers hasn't changed a lot during these 10 years, so we decided to focus on the outbound passengers, which had many ups and downs in the statistics. As we can see in the chart, the general trend of outbound passengers is upward, but the growth rate between 2010 to 2014 is slower than the rate between 2004 to 2009. In Hong Kong, the general trend is downwards, although it increased a lot in 2009. In Macau, the general trend is upwards. In 2014, the number of passengers even doubled than 2004. The bird's nest built for the Olympic Games in Beijing can contain 80,000 audience. In 2004, the passengers from Macau can only fill up less than 3 out of 20 of the stadium, but in 2014, it can fill up more than a quarter of the stadium. In terms of Taiwan and overseas passengers, the trend is steady. Now, follow me to see the reasons behind those ups and downs. Thus, we can have a clearer picture of the development of Beijing tourism. Firstly, let's see Hong Kong. Tourists from Hong Kong accounted for 7 to 8% of all the tourists, but except for the mainland tourists. The average number of tourists is about 345,617.9 during these 11 years. It is a big number, but only 5 years' number is above this average. They are in 2009 to 2013. So, we can see that the year of 2009 is a watershed. Before this year, the changing rate of tourists is steady, but the number of tourists is below the average. In 2009, Hong Kong tourists made a big increase. 1.5 times more than the year of 2008. But after this year, the number of tourists has decreased a lot. According to some reports we read, we came up with some conclusions. The main reason behind the big increase in 2009 is that Beijing held the Olympic Games in 2008, but this year, Beijing government published several provisions to limit the tourist number. So in 2009, many people from Hong Kong wanted to see what was Beijing like after the Olympic Games. And why did the tourist number keep decreasing after 2011? The main reason is the relationship between Hong Kong and mainland China is becoming more and more tense. It created a feeling of collision for Hong Kong people traveling to Beijing. Secondly, Macau. Tourists from Macau accounted for 0.2 to 0.4%, although it doesn't account for a large part of all the tourists. But the general trend is upward, an annual growth rate at 17.37%. Especially after 2007, it means more and more important to Beijing tourism. Macau's economy developed well these years, and its relationship with mainland China is good too. These factors encourage people to travel to Beijing. In terms of Taiwan, accounted for 5% to 6%. It is mostly affected by policy and the currency rate. Taiwan has a big decrease in 2008. It has a lot to do with global financial crisis because Taiwan has a high dependency for foreign countries. After 2008, it increases a lot, especially in the year of 2009, 1.7 times of 2008. That's because of that Ma Ying-jeou took the position as Taiwan president. He improved the relationship between Taiwan and mainland China, and he promoted the policy of 3 opening links. At last, foreign tourists. It is a huge part of Beijing inbound tourism, accounted for 85% to 88% of overseas tourists. From 2004 to 2007, the number of foreign visitors has grown slightly faster, at the annual average growth rate of 17.81%. But after 2010, the growth tends to be gentle and even had some decrease. Similar as Taiwan, financial crisis and currency rate change make foreign people has less money to control, and China is far away from those countries. It reduces their desire to come to China. But actually, the most crucial factor for the decrease is the environmental pollution. For their own considerations of health and joy of traveling, less foreigners want to come to Beijing.
According to the data of Beijing Tourism Development Committee, we can see the trend of Beijing tourist population is generally downward. We think that one main reason causing the situation is the fall on pace. The value of PM 2.5 will be more than 500 at some points of one day. People who are exposed to smoke over extended period will be ill. And with the anti-corruption policy, drinking is greatly reduced. This is also the reason why the growth rate of Beijing tourists is small gains. From this chart, the residents of Beijing was flat in recent 5 years, but the population of tourists are increased year by year. We put those two into the same chart in order to know how enormous the visitors are and give the impression of the residents in Beijing. Now let's see the comparison between Beijing's visitors and tourists as the following chart. We divide the main source of tourists into import and domestic tourists. The inbound visitor consume over 3 times more than the domestic tourists, and both domestic and inbound tourists consume more than before. The average duration of inbound visitor is shorter than the domestic visitor, but is slightly growth.
There are lots of construction types in Beijing, including long-distance transportation, shopping, accommodation, catering, entertainment, tourist communications, the city traffic, etc. According to the table, there are 3 main construction types in Beijing. The biggest is transportation, and the second is shopping, the first is accommodation. We have collected 5 years data of construction types. Shopping standard deviation is 1.41. Shopping is the most fluctuation part in construction of Beijing tourism. The most variance is 4.1. The fluctuation is in years 2020 to 2030. Because less tourists came to Beijing in 2020, Beijing government published 72 hours transit visa transactions policy to United States, France, and Britain, etc., totaling 45 countries in 2013. That may have an effect on boost shopping. Relatively, that an enough amount of economic development. Tour has the smallest fluctuation in the construction types. The least variant is 0.8. Because most of the tourists would like to visit the tourism series.
Beijing is a rich city in China. Tourism industry plays an important role to support its economy. Here we got 5 years data of tourism income in Beijing. The following chart will tell the details of the data and also the ratio between tourism and total income. From 2010 to 2014, we see the income of tourism raised almost half times. In 2014, it came over 400 billion RMB. The total income in 2014 came over 2,000 billion RMB. The below chart shows the tourism industries always comes approximately 20% of Beijing total income. Tourism is important to Beijing because of its cultural, international, and economic influence. Besides, tourism also can help other industry development through the high purchasing power of visitors.
Reasons that affect the citizens of Macau, Hong Kong, and Taiwan visiting Beijing are different. One factor is their history background. Macau was ruled by Portugal, Hong Kong was colonized by England, and Taiwan was colonized by Japan. Therefore, those people may not have the sense of belonging. Moreover, they are influenced by Western culture, so they are more open-minded and they will find it hard to accept the Chinese policy and traditional culture. And the behavior of Chinese people make the other think that they are not polite and don't consider the feeling of the others. Chinese people and the people of those 3 countries can't fully understand each other and have different ideas in the same issue. Those cities have different and special positions in the policy of China. And there are other factors affect the visitors from Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. Relationship between mainland China and those 3 cities. Fluctuation in exchange rate, population of the region,
personal interest, environmental situation, transportation development, economic situation.
Our group member mainly focus on the overseas tourists, including the tourists from Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Macau. We find the recent 10 years data. As the line chart shows, the population of inbound tourists is generally upward. According to the formula, we can calculate the average growth rate from 2004 to 2011 is 8.29%, and the annual decrease rate from 2011 to 2014 is 1.52. At this reduced speed, the population of overseas tourists in 2017 will be 4.68 million people. The situation is not optimistic.
The Great Wall is one of the greatest miracles created by the ancient people as well as the witness of China's long history. It is one of the landmark buildings in Beijing. There is an old famous saying that he who has never been to Great Wall is not a true man. In Chinese, it is 不大长城非好汉. The Great Wall is length of 21,198.2 kilometers. But the current length of Great Wall is Ming Great Wall built in the 14th century, which begin from Jiayu Pass in the west and end to Donghu Mountains in the east. Mid Great Wall is length of 8,861.8 kilometers. The average height is 6 to 7 meters, width is 4 to 5 meters. The Great Wall was listed as one of the 7 miracles in ancient world 100 years ago. It was recorded in World Inheritance Land List by World Heritage Committees of UNESCO. There are more unexplored Great Walls which are called White Great Walls. Beijing has about 600 km wide Great Wall. It is still dangerous to hike to wide Great Walls because the lack of safety facilities.
The Forbidden City was the Chinese imperial palace from the Ming Dynasty to the end of the Qing Dynasty. It was located in the center of Beijing, China, and now houses of the Palace Museum. It served as the home of emperors and their household as well as the political center of Chinese government for almost 500 years. And now it serves as the president of Chinese office. Its name came from the Northern Star, which Chinese people call it Purple Star, which is the symbol of emperor. The whole city length 961 meters, wide 753 meters. Whole area is 730,000 square meters. There are 980 houses in the Forbidden Cities. Surrounding have 10 meters walls and the river wide 52 meters. Both of the walls have one door. It also was recorded in World Inheritance Name List by the World Heritage Committee of UNESCO in 1987. Also called Gates of Heavenly Peace, was a famous site of Beijing. It was the southern gate of Forbidden Cities. It was built in Ming Dynasty. The wall has a big photo of Mao Zedong. There is a news that every morning China's PLA raised the national flag at the Tiananmen Square. Because of this ritual, it attracts a lot of people from home and are up early to watch. We created a questionnaire survey about Beijing tourism and reviewed 223 feedbacks. We made a survey with the people who travel to Beijing in 5 years. They are almost 50 years to 30 years old. We have a marking system and the highest mark is 5. According to the table,